future for the United States of America, what is it? What is the future? I don't think it's about politics anymore. I think politics has become what religion used to be. I think politics has become sort of a cult-like behavior where people break off into these separate groups and they have their own definitions as far as like what they think is wrong with the world according to their philosophy, and the sort of flag that they gather underneath is sort of a group movement. And this group feels disempowered. They feel like the world, they don't have any control over it, and it gives them a delusion of having some kind of power to attend rallies in which the politicians show up in order to get votes from these people, and then they get their people in there. And then all of the complaining, all of the things that they were complaining about still exist in the same way that they did before, but the complaining goes away. If you notice, when Barack Obama got elected, all the protests against George W. Bush and our involvement in Iraq and Afghanistan, all the protests went away because good old Barack Obama had a D after his name. And he's doing his best. Everybody who was opposed to the Bush administration's activities would say. And, but he's running the country pretty much exactly the same way Bush did. Now we've got, then there was the whole reaction against Barack Obama, and you've seen that with the fucking, the Tea Party movement. And by the way, I've noticed, this is exactly what I predicted. These people quieted down. Once they get their people in there, they quiet down and they go away. And the same people that they put in basically run the country exactly the same way the people that they were protesting against. There's a few issues here and there, but nothing major. Everything's pretty much the same as it was. Politics creates this sort of groupthink, and then people gather into a group, and then there's these delusions that they have power over the situation because there's politicians showing up to the rallies saying, hey, I want your vote, so vote for me, I agree with you. And power changes hands, and the situation remains exactly the same as it was, regardless of who's in power. So maybe we're reaching an age where I think people who think along those lines, people who think along political lines, are going to have less of an impact in the future. I think we're reaching, thankfully, a post-political age. The divisiveness can only go so far. The criticisms can only go so far. And the media is sensationalistic. Currently, they're covering what's going on in Japan, which is a situation with the tsunami and the reactor meltdowns. There's nothing we can do about that stuff. But that's what the media likes to do. They like to present you with a lot of ideas and a lot of things that there's nothing that you can do about. There's nothing you can do about this. Oh, somebody went into a school and shot 12 people. There's nothing you can do about that. Oh, there's been a great disaster or earthquake and 1 million people died. There's nothing you can do about that. They kind of just want to overwhelm your senses with the drama and the things. Disasters, natural or otherwise, these things that you can't do anything about, to induce a sense of paralysis. And then you sit there and you talk about it with other people, and then the media continues the story, and they go out into the street and they say, well, what do you think about what you just saw? And they go, oh, I think it's terrible. And they talk to a bunch of people who can't, again, man in the street can't do anything about it either. And that's what they do. The story becomes the reaction and the drama, and this is the thing everybody's talking about, whether it's everybody talking about either some disaster or a celebrity's drug problem. And it's just the whole culture is not at all positive in any way, or constructive, or anything. So I think that there are parallels in history. I think that culturally history has this habit of repeating itself, because one generation being raised by another, they end up in a world that's been created by the previous, and then they react against that, and you have these sort of repeating patterns, like these sort of repeating historical patterns. Quite frankly, I think we're living in a very conservative era in a lot of ways. People want things to kind of be quieted down, but they also want the drama and the sensationalism on their TV screen, but they also want to turn it off and just watch, American Idol or something like that, or watch celebrities dancing. They don't want to deal with the meat of the matter. People, I think that we're reaching an era where people kind of want things to be quiet. You notice that the media doesn't cover the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan because people don't want to hear about that. That's the way the media is. Well, people don't want to hear about it. So if people don't want to hear about all the problems in the world and they don't want to hear about the troubles that we can't do anything about, by the way, what happened to the BP oil leak? Remember that? Oh, it just keeps leaking and nothing we do. They couldn't stop it in any way. They never, they tried this to plug it up and then they tried another thing to plug it up and they couldn't plug it up and it's leaking and it's going to ruin everything and there's no way to stop it and everybody's trying to stop it and nobody can. And if you notice, the media just sort of stopped reporting it, like, okay, well, was that problem solved or not? No, we're just going to quietly not report it as much because people are tired of that story. Just like they're tired of Iraq, they're tired of Afghanistan, they're tired of Iran pursuing nuclear weapons, they're tired of the BP oil leak. The disasters just continue, but when it doesn't test well anymore, when people don't want to hear about this anymore, well, let's just stop reporting it. And that's what happens, and people get bored with things, and then they want to hear the new thing. But I think that people don't want to hear about crap that they don't have any control over anymore. I don't think they want to hear about it. I think they want to get on with their lives, get their paycheck, pay their bills, and get on with their life. I think that's what people want to do. So there's a new kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I sense that culturally there's a new kind of realism coming into light. I sense that there's a new kind of like, hey, we're all kind of in this thing, we're all trying to struggle here, because times are tough economically for everybody. And we're just kind of going day to day. And I don't think people want to hear about crap that they don't have any control over, whether it's a tornado or a tsunami or these natural disasters or these wars that never end or the oil leak that I don't know if they ever fix that or not. And quite frankly, I'm too goddamn busy to look it up and say, well, did anything happen with that? Even if something or nothing did happen. Even if it's completely out of control and it's just worse and worse every day, I'm sorry, is there anything that I can do about that? By what? Well, you can spread the word, you can talk about it, you can call your senator, you can attend a rally, you can send an email, you can sign a petition. Big fucking deal. None of this does anything. None of this solves anything. Everything's exactly the same. I'm not going to get caught up in that. And I think that's the way. I don't know if I speak just for myself when I say that. It's just that I don't believe that getting involved and talking about the issues does anything. I think it's just you're a schmuck, maybe calling up a radio station. I think it's just terrible what's happening. And, oh, thank you, duly noted, caller. And then they go on to the next caller. What's the point of doing that? It's just a complaint fest, and nobody is actually solving any of the fucking problems that exist. But I notice that people forget about the problems that exist. As soon as the media is not talking about those problems anymore, oh, well, it's just nobody cares about that. Are pirates still kidnapping people in the middle of, around Africa and places like that? Probably. Do you hear about it? No, not if the media doesn't report it. Well, people don't want to hear about that anymore. It's like the problem still exists, but nobody cares to hear about it anymore. So the world just continues in this state of decay. Everything is decaying. Everything's just kind of falling the fuck apart. None of the problems are getting solved. Oh, by the way, yeah, there's still 5 people applying for every one job that exists, and that problem is there's no light at the end of the tunnel. That we don't know how to solve that. But you people are tired of hearing about that. Let's talk about Charlie Sheen's drug problem. That's what's most important right now. Or they go over to Japan and in some situation that you can't have any control over. And as a result, and you can tell by the way I'm talking about all of this. You can tell by the way that I'm talking, is that I don't fucking watch the news. I don't pay any attention to this shit. I don't have a TV. I don't watch anything. I went to Drudge last night because I wanted to know about. I heard the nuclear thing, the people in Japan, and they have a reactor that's leaking and they can't cool it down, and it's caused a major problem for those people, as if they haven't been through enough after the tsunami. And I'm reading, and I'm like, well, nobody knows what to do about this. So you have another BP oil thing that might just go on forever, and nobody knows how to stop something. And, the media will stop reporting it as soon as American people are not interested in it anymore. Something's a story, but when the public isn't interested, they don't want to hear it anymore. And that's what we got. That's what we got going on. So that's the story right now. 2 weeks from now, it won't be. 2 weeks from now, it won't be. It'll be something else. So, what's the point here? I can tell you that the media is bullshit, but you already know that. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. Yeah, what is the point? What is the point? I mean, it's just a reminder. The media is just this reminder that you do not have control over your own life, that you do not have control over the world. And it's all random. And the only delusion of control that people have is politics. Politics is the great delusion. I mean, people participate in something and they think they're making a difference, or they sign a petition, or they add their name to something, or they attend a meeting. And the control is so little that it's hard to believe in politics as anything anymore. So maybe we are really entering, like I said, a post-political era. Anyway, that's that. Adios. See you next time.